Luka Modric!
And the winner is Lionel Messi.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
C'est pour toi, Karim Benzema.
It is indeed Karim Benzema.
The Ballon d'Or always sparks the drama with hot takes, controversial opinions, and endless debates. 2024 will be no different. The big names everyone's buzzing about: Vinicius Jr, Rodri, and Jude Bellingham. But wait, Vinicius Jr? Really? Don't get me wrong, Vinicius is really talented, who can run circles around anyone. But Ballon d'Or? That's a different conversation entirely. Vinny might not even be the best pick, let alone the winner. Real Madrid has two players gunning for the award, and if you don't understand why, well, they kind of won everything, except their domestic cup, which, let's be honest, no one really cares about. What we do care about are numbers. Vinny had a good season. 24 goals and 11 assists across all competitions is impressive. But compare that to some of the nominees, and it starts to look less convincing. In La Liga, he had 15 goals and 6 assists from 26 league appearances. I can think of a certain Norwegian giant who can beat those numbers in his sleep. Vinny missed 12 league games, which is a huge chunk of the season. How can you be considered the best player in the world when you're not even a constant presence for your team throughout the year? Then there's the Champions League. He did well in the competition, with 6 goals and 5 assists in 10 games. But when he wore the famous yellow colors of Brazil, he was awful. In a team that's full of attacking talent, you'd think Vinny would thrive, but instead, his form was poor. It's like he wasn't even playing. At this point, I'm pretty sure he had more fights last year than good performances. For a player to be considered the best in the world, you'd expect them to shine both for club and country. Vinny simply hasn't done that. And what's even more awful was he never subscribed to this channel. Alright, maybe I made that up, but hey, you wouldn't leave me hanging, would ya? Smash that like and subscribe button right now, and let's move on. Despite all that, Carlo Ancelotti seems to think Vinicius is the only obvious candidate.
In your, who do you think, obviously?
Who do you think is gonna win?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna win, my opinion, it's gonna win Vinicius, because he is a talented player.
Carlo can't be forgetting these less memorable moments of Vinny, can he? Robert Lewandowski deserved it in 2020. Looking at these stats of his that year compared to Vinny's for 2024, you just can't have Vinicius as a Ballon d'Or winner. The pandemic ruined the party for Lewandowski, by the way. Don't get me wrong, Vinny had moments, but moments don't win you the award. Consistency and influence at the highest level do, and Vinicius hasn't shown enough of either. Speaking of influence, one of the players he's up against has been so influential for club and country, fans are literally crying now that he's injured for the rest of the season. Rodri has been the talk of the town for a while now, and Manchester City is just another beast when Rodri is playing. His influence on Manchester City's success last season is undeniable. And when a guy like Pep Guardiola, one of the greatest football minds, says Rodri is the best midfielder in the world, you have to take that seriously.
It would be the light. He deserves it.
But without him, we could not do what we are doing.
Remember, this is a coach who has Kevin De Bruyne on his team, yet he's putting Rodri at the top. That speaks volumes. I know Ancelotti said the same thing about Vinicius, but with all due respect to Carlo Ancelotti, I think Pep's words have more weight to them. And even if we don't listen to the managers, the proof is right in front of our eyes. Rodri played 34 of the 38 Premier League games for Manchester City and led them to yet another title. The guy has an aura around him and is always there to save his team in a tough situation. Rodri's numbers might not blow you away. 9 goals and 14 assists in 50 games. But let's be clear, he's a defensive midfielder. His job isn't just about goals and assists. It's about controlling the tempo, breaking up play, and being the backbone of City's midfield. He's the guy who makes everything click, allowing players like De Bruyne, Haaland, and Bernardo Silva to thrive. City won an incredible number of games last season. Rodri was at the heart of all of it.
And Rodri weighs in with yet another significant goal.
And let's not forget Rodri's performances for his country. He led Spain to a European title with his commanding presence, and that just shows how important he is to any team. Ballon d'Or winners are supposed to be the players who make the most significant impact, and Rodri does exactly that. Honestly, if we're talking about who had the most influence on their team's success last season, it's hard to argue against Rodri. He's not flashy, but he's absolutely vital, and that's why he deserves to be ahead of Vinicius for the award. The third guy in the battle has them beat in numbers and impact. Jude Bellingham just ended his debut season at Real Madrid, which, if you think about it, makes his performances even more impressive. He was settling into a new country, getting used to the culture, but bosses the football world with his amazing performances. His initial goal-scoring numbers matched those of Cristiano Ronaldo, and this guy was doing it from midfield. Bellingham is only 20 years old, but his impact at Real Madrid were way better than Vinicius. Playing like a seasoned veteran, his numbers reflect that as well. In La Liga, he racked up 19 goals and 6 assists in 28 games. That's 4 more than Vinicius, who is an attacker. Bellingham scored more goals from midfield in his debut season than his Real Madrid teammate, who has been at the club for much longer. Let that sink in. In the Champions League, he registered 4 goals and 5 assists in 11 appearances. That's only 2 goals short of Vinicius, who, again, should be having more goals and assists. Bellingham not only matched, but beat Vinicius' numbers while carrying out his midfielder duties as well. It's not just the numbers, though. It's his leadership, his ability to dictate the tempo, and his knack for stepping up in crucial moments. Bellingham is already proving to be the heartbeat of Real Madrid, with Toni Kroos retiring and Modric aging. In the 2023 Ballon d'Or Awards, Bellingham won the Copa Trophy, a trophy awarded to the most impressive under-21 player. Don't you think the Englishman should be ahead of Vinicius? There were way too many snubs in the past, with so many talented players missing out on the award. You would argue that these footballers were in the era of the GOATs, Messi and Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Thierry Henry, just to name a few. But the Messi-Ronaldo era has come to an end, and hopefully the voters do pick the most deserving one. But really, Vinicius Jr. shouldn't be the favorites. I made a video on the players who were robbed off a Ballon d'Or during their era. Do check it out, and hopefully I don't have to add another player to that list.